Colette has just received her new hypercharge within the recent update, and you guys are gonna need this guide in order to play Colette like a pro. Now, after all of the recent set of balance changes and all of the power level changes, Colette is definitely one of the most powerful anti-tank brawlers in the entire game. As you guys know, with each attack, every single time she hits a brawler, she'll actually chip them down by 30% of their total current health. So theoretically, the more HP a brawler has, the more damage she's going to be doing to them. This is why she's going to be a very ideal pick against tanks like Frank and El Primo, brawlers that have a lot of health. Now, something you guys have to keep in mind about Colette is, you know, against special targets like maybe the Heist safe or the Siege Ike, she'll actually do a fixed amount of damage to them. Now, something that can actually help you deal more damage overall to just everything is using the damage gear. Whenever you guys are low at Colette, that damage gear will go ahead and activate, and it'll help you guys finish off your enemies a lot faster. Now, probably the thing that makes Colette the most broken out of her entire kit is her super. So whenever you guys use your super, I recommend you guys try to dash onto like a wall or obstacle. The reason for this is, well, one, you want to give your opponents the least amount of time as possible to react to get out of the way of your super. This will just overall increase your chances of hitting the enemy going down and coming back. Now, something that can just help you with this issue is using the push it star power, but I'll talk about that star power in a little bit. Now, making sure you can sandwich an enemy between you and the wall is just going to help you shorten that distance of your dash, so that after your dash is done, you'll be able to burst them down right there on the spot. Now, a cool trick with Colette is if you actually have your super charged up halfway, you can just tap them with 2 main attacks and then use your super. So you can pretty much kill any brawler in the entire game by using this trick. If you are using the push it star power after you are done using your super and you connect onto the enemy, they will actually be in a little bit of a hit stun, and you can take this opportunity to help you deal more damage and hopefully finish off the kill in general. Now, when you guys use the push it star power, whenever you hit an enemy with your super, you'll be carrying them to the farthest point of Colette's super. This can be a very helpful star power in case you guys need to push enemies far away from an objective like in gem grab or in hot zone. If you need to push enemies away from collecting the gems, you can go ahead and push them away with your super. Or if you guys are playing hot zone and the enemies are standing on top of the hot zone, you can go ahead and use your super onto them and just basically push them far away from the hot zone so that you and your team can gain the pressure and take control of the map. Now, something that's very underrated about Colette that not a lot of people do is playing her in Brawl Ball. Well, first off, in Brawl Ball, you guys will probably be seeing a lot of tanks and assassins there, so that'll already make her a pretty ideal pick to counter those brawlers. And two, with Colette's push star power, you'll actually be able to push them away from the ball, or if they're carrying the ball, you'll actually be able to make them drop the ball, and you'll be able to push them away from the ball in general. Now, yes, Colette's super sounds so good on paper, but there are still some flaws to it. For example, if you guys are playing against high DPS brawlers that do a lot of burst damage very quickly, for example, brawlers like Tara and Bull, you guys gotta really make sure you don't use your super onto them, because even though you're using your super, you're not gonna be immune whatsoever throughout it. So you just gotta really be smart when using your super. You can use your super onto them, but I'd recommend trying to bait out their ammo, and then you can go ahead and use your super onto them. Now, yes, I wouldn't say just completely avoid them in general. Something that could help you out in this kind of specific situation is using the mass tack star power. With this star power, after you use Colette's super, she'll actually get a 20% shield for 5 seconds, and for every brawler that Colette actually connects with her super, will actually increase the shield by another 10%. Now, this star power can be very helpful for Colette when playing her in Heist, but I'll go a little bit more into detail about that in a little bit. Now, you can actually play Colette outside of Heist if you want to, or on different Heist maps, just depending if there are a lot of access points throughout the map in order to get to the objective. If there aren't really a lot of access points and you're basically going to be able to funnel the enemies into one lane, it's going to be pretty easy for you to go ahead and use your super onto them and increase that shield on your super. Now, something you guys do have to keep in mind about this star power is it actually does not affect stuns, slows, or knockbacks. Now, let's be real here. I really would not be making this video if it wasn't for Colette's hypercharge. Now, if you guys go ahead and activate your hypercharge and then use your super, Colette's spirit will actually follow Colette during her super and actually deal damage to the enemies as well. So if you guys think about it this way, essentially she's only using one super, but she's actually getting the value of dealing double the damage. And let's not forget about the natural hypercharge buffs that you get with her, like a 30% speed boost, a 25% damage boost, and a 50% shield boost. And all of those buffs are going to be stacked on top of her hypercharge super. And if you guys use the mass tack star power, she's basically going to be unkillable. And this is why Colette is probably one of the best brawlers, if not probably the best brawler right now to play on top of Heist. Now, yes, as everybody knows, Heist is going to be Colette's strongest game mode, and I highly recommend you guys push Colette strictly on Heist. Now, let's be real here. Colette's ability to chain supers by hitting only 4 main attacks is actually pretty disgusting, and it makes it so easy for you guys to chain supers onto the enemy team safe. Now, something that can actually help you chain supers even faster is if you can hit enemies on the way to the Heist safe. In case you guys didn't know, yes, if you guys hit enemies with your super, it'll actually help you charge up your next super already. Now, going back to mass tax, it's going to be the better star power for you guys to use in Heist, because when you guys are going aggro onto the enemy team safe, it'll actually increase your chances of staying alive because you guys will have that additional shield. But not only will it give you that shield like when you're dashing onto the enemy team safe with your super, once your super is done, you will still have that shield, and that can really make or break the difference if you can charge up your next super or take down the enemies if you're playing defense. Now, something I gotta recommend for you guys is to try pairing up Colette with Byron and 8-bit. If you guys think about it this way, if you pair up Colette with Byron is gonna be able to heal not only Colette but heal 8-bit up as well. Colette and 8-bit are gonna be such good brawlers in Heist because of how much damage they can do to the enemy team safe. And if you guys use the 8-bit damage booster, 8-bit already does a lot of damage, right? But also the damage booster is gonna help Colette deal more damage to the enemies, and it's gonna help Byron deal more damage to the enemies, and help Byron heal 8-bit and Colette up even more. Now, something that makes Colette even more broken in Heist is using the gotcha gadget. Now, on activation, Colette's next attacks for the next 5 seconds will actually heal herself up for 80% of the damage that she deals. So if you guys use the gotcha gadget when you guys are hypercharged, or maybe even when your damage gear is activated, all of those things will go into effect and help you stay alive a lot longer. So as long as Colette is very good at connecting shots onto the enemies, and you guys have that gotcha gadget activated, she's basically going to be unkillable, and it's going to really frustrate the enemy team. Something that can even help you even further with this gadget is using the gadget charge gear. Having an extra gotcha gadget to use throughout the game will just help you guys stay alive a lot longer and just frustrate the enemy team like I stated earlier. Now, a fun fact I feel like a lot of people don't really know about this gotcha gadget is that special targets will actually take a 20% increase in damage when this gadget is activated. All in all, Colette is probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest anti-tank brawler in the entire game, and she reigns supreme in Heist, so I highly recommend you guys go play her in Heist and get her hypercharged right now. Well, anyway guys, if you guys enjoyed that brawler guide, I highly recommend you guys go check out this brawler guide right here.